Hi, my name is Tolu Owokade. I'm the Director of Operations at Solstice Energy, and I'm also an advisor at DAC Institute. At Solstice Energy, we believe that the future of energy resources in emerging markets will be in distributed energy resources form. And so what we're offering is a solution that is a hardware, a software, an internet-enabled solution that helps people intelligently manage their energy resources. So my role is to ensure that our customers are happy, which of course makes us happy at Solstice, and also to ensure that our projects are executed excellently well. And in addition to this, in terms of the administrative day-to-day operations of the business in Nigeria, I ensure that everybody is happy. That our operations runs as smoothly as possible. So I don't think I decided to go into the field of tech, if I may put it that way. I think it was an organic progression of loving maths and being really good at physics. And so the easiest thing to go with was electrical electronics engineering. I studied engineering in school, but at the time, the big boom was internet. So I focused on networks and communications. So for the first 8 years, or almost a decade of my career, I had been in the telecoms industry. And very recently, I decided to try something else. And that's why I moved into the clean energy tech space. And it's interesting how all of this comes together, considering I had studied electrical electronics, and now I am into the energy space, which is very directly related to electricity, part of what I had studied in school. And so it was a function of the things I'm passionate about and the things that I'm good at, and working at both of them. And that's how I have gotten to the point where I'm now Director of Operations at Solstice. On the other hand, with DAC Institute, I've always been passionate about improving skills and people becoming better than they are. As I think about what I do at DAC, I have a 3-year-old, and I think about the opportunities that are ahead of her. And so it's very dear to my heart to be able to put in the skills that I have and all that I have into building the next generation of African children who are going to be able to do some great work across the world and change the narrative of the Africa that we know today. Most of us would know Facebook and Google. They're some of the biggest tech companies that we have in the world today. The most fun projects I did with them was building out their first physical presence in West Africa. And so I did that while I was in the telecoms industry, working to build out the POPs that allows you to then use their services more effectively. When you go on your Facebook or you go to Google, the services are much better than what you used to experience 3, 4, 5 years ago. And it's interesting to work on the back end and ensure that these people have systems that are working efficiently in Nigeria, and to see how this has transformed so many other industries like the fashion industry, the entertainment industry, and just being on the back scene has been really beautiful. The other thing I've worked on most recently at Solstice Energy is working with a team that helps us ensure that people can actually monitor and control their energy sources right from their phones. And so we have a solution that allows people to go to their phones and they're able to turn off their gens remotely. That's something that's really new and innovative, especially in Nigeria and generally in emerging markets. Thirdly, at DAC Institute, just last year, we got the opportunity to work at one of the IDP camps in the northern area of Maiduguri, to be specific. And it was interesting to see how we're able to pass on knowledge that is not limited to either the high class or the low class. And we're able to impact these children with STEM skills that they can carry on through their lives. And they're not limited by where they come from, but they're able to become whoever they want to be because they have more opportunities to do something with all of the lessons and all of the new skills that we've impacted them with. So those are things that I have done that I have found really fabulous. So balance for better, to me, means that I'm able to fix my daughter breakfast in the morning, carry out my work duties through the day, and I'm able to come back in the evening to spend time with my family. Balance for better to me means that when I go into a boardroom, I see more women there, and I hear diverse voices that helps us bring better results and better solutions to the world today. Balance for better to me means that when I go for a conference that is based on STEM, I see different people from different cultures, from different places, and I see more women in those rooms. It means that when we're providing solutions to the world, women's voices are heard. Women's voices and what they think about these things are put into the solutions that the world needs right now. Balance for better, to me, means that as we move through the technology era, we're preferring and we're thinking about things not just from one perspective or from a skewed perspective, but people are able to do things in a more cohesive manner that brings us, and we're able to leverage different perspectives to bring the best results. Balance for better, to me, means that when I go back to my university and I sit with a young group of people in an engineering class, I see a ratio that's different from what I saw while I was in school. While I was in school, I had a ratio of 1 girl to 10 guys. Balance for better to me would mean that there are more women in those classrooms, and so we're able to hire more women into STEM skills, into STEM industries, and as they grow through their careers, we're able to see more women on board seats. We're able to see more women taking on higher and more senior roles, not just in STEM, but across the world in general. That's what balance for better means to me. According to UNESCO's Institute for Statistics, less than 30% of the world's researchers are women. Let's bring that home a little. When I got into engineering school in university, there were 10 girls and over 90 guys in class. While I was leaving, there was probably just about 7 girls. About almost 10 years after, there's only about 3 of us that are still working in the STEM industry. Now, the world that we live in today is very complex. The problems and the challenges that we're trying to solve are very difficult. It is not enough for us to have a skewed perspective of solving these problems. When we think about solving problems, then we need to think about having a more balanced view of men and women to solve these problems. We cannot afford to have men sitting on the table and not have women sitting on the table where we're solving problems. When you think about the way the internet was set up, we had men sitting at that table. But when you think about the problems that have come up right after, or many years after building the internet as we know it today, then we see that with a woman's view, it would have been totally different. Or we expect that the results would have been different. And so my view, my personal view of why we need to have gender equity in STEM is because we can build more diverse, better solutions that the world is in dire need of. We can have more competitive options, and just simply because the world is in a place where the opportunities are so large that there are more women who can bring their diverse perspectives to solving these problems. And who knows, the problem of cancer, for instance, as Maya said, might be one that's sitting in the mind of a child, a female child for that matter. But we will never know until we get that female child into a STEM class and she becomes a scientist, and then she solves the problem of cancer. To my younger self, I would say the world is in desperate need of what you have to offer. Your voice, your perspective, your thinking. So be bold about it. Speak. Take more risks. Relax, because things will work out. And you know what? You really have something to offer. So don't be scared about it. And sometimes you may fall. Falling is not failure. Falling simply means that you can rise again. Falling means that you have a destination. You're going somewhere. So keep going. Be resilient. Have grit, because grit will take you far. Never forget your support system. Your support system will carry you through those years. Your support system, those are the people that are close to you. Those are the people that have your back. And for me personally, I say to my younger self, never leave God out of it. Let Him be in the center of whatever it is you're doing. You haven't even scratched the surface. Keep going, because you have a voice, and the world needs that voice.